Our guest today is Lisa Whyte. She is the founder and principal designer of Whyte House Design. She shares with us design trends for 2026, as well as some tips to set you up for success if you're planning to sell your home. This is a fun episode. I love her energy. You're gonna wanna listen. Well, welcome, Lisa. Thank you for being with us. And we were just saying episode 99 of The Real Deal, where real estate meets real life. And this really is combining real estate and real life. So this will be super fun. I just want to read a little bit about you. Lisa is the founder and principal designer of Whyte House Design, where she brings together thoughtful interiors and real life functionality. With a background in marketing and visual storytelling, Lisa approaches each project with a refined eye and a strategic mindset, creating spaces that feel elevated, cohesive, and deeply personal. You have over 20 years of exposure to real estate and renovation. Lisa understands homes with both a design and an investment perspective. She specializes in full service interior design and remodels, guiding clients seamlessly from concept to completion with curated selections, contractor coordination, and attention to every detail. At Whyte House Design, our goal is simple: to create beautiful, timeless spaces that feel as good as they look.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
love that.
Thank you.
Isn't that the truth? That I was telling somebody this recently, that when you go in a home, it really is a feeling.
It is.
And buyers buy on that
They
feeling
do.
more often than not. And oftentimes we see them sometimes even compromise on what they thought they wanted because they just fall in love.
Absolutely. It's that thing, and I tell people, even if you're not like a woo-woo person, like houses have energy and they have vibes and you can feel that. And so it is so fun to kind of, go in these spaces with people, or even like I'll walk in sometimes and I'm like, I don't even know if I really need to be here. This house already feels so magical. But then it's like, taking things to the finish line for people and creating the space that they love. But
Isn't
you're
that
so
so
right.
fun?
It is. I love it. It's the best.
I often joke around about when I walk into a house with buyers, I'm paying attention to how they feel.
Oh, yeah.
You can see it on their faces.
Yes.
And most of the time it's the lady that'll know immediately. It's
Yes.
either this is, or nope.
I know. And you have to let them lead, and then you're kind of just there, like absorbing it and feeling like, how does this feel? And I'll try to stay quiet in the beginning, but then it's, it's like, hey, what do you think? What do you feel? But you're so right.
That's so fun.
I know.
So I'm really excited to talk about like design trends and what's popular right now and what people are really loving, because it does ebb and flow.
It really does.
So tell us what you're seeing out there.
Yeah, so I just wrapped up. I came from Furniture Market. They do it every year. They do it in High Point. They do it in Vegas. Vegas is an easy one to go to. So I just came from there. And so we are, I think we're all probably seeing this a little bit, but like a return to kind of the warm, the neutrals, the very like earthy, grounding tones. So I'm always someone that's very inspired by either where we travel to or like what surrounds us. So it's like bringing nature in. You see those warm woods coming back.
Yeah.
And so I tell people, you wait long enough, some of those wood cabinets are just, they're
so
right
true.
on back.
So true.
But a lot of textures. So it'll be that it's like, there is some color drenching happening and very rich tones, but then a lot of neutrals. And so all that stuff is like playing together, and it feels really, really, really nice.
Like clean, simple, and just very natural. I love that.
I know, and people are just, it feels inviting and cozy.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I want to ask some kind of like tangible things that anyone listening can take this to their home and be like, okay, so let's talk just wall color in general.
Yeah.
What are you seeing and what do you recommend?
Yeah, so the greens are definitely having their moment. It's like TBD if that's going to feel time stamped, but the greens and the blues, I mean, people are loving that. But then I'm also seeing some of that, warm terracotta, like some of the rust tones coming in. You'll never outpace or get tired of like just a beautiful creamy white that can wash everything. So a lot of people are doing like a color drench where they're taking an office space and they're doing it like ceiling baseboards, like the two-tone, like I hate to say it, but like accessible beige on the walls and then a bright white trim. Like some of that's kind of fading into the distance, but we'll always love, neutrals. But I'm seeing like you're taking a color and there's like satin on the walls, flat on the ceiling, and then the baseboard's like a semi-gloss. And so
But it's the same color.
Same tone.
I love that.
It's really good. So, you know, a little bit of a departure from that stark builder grade two-tone package.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been fun. I've been seeing like those spaces like offices getting completely drenched in a tone, and it's so fun.
So
So
what
good.
would you recommend to a seller that needs to neutralize the paint in their house? Like what color would you tell them to do? And would you tell them to do that?
I mean, I have my go-tos for
Okay.
sure. So, I mean, you can never, you know, never dispute the warm creaminess of like Alabaster from Sherwin-Williams, White Dove from Benjamin Moore. If somebody's like, I don't want it to feel blown out laser white, I love a little bit of tone, like Shoji White is a beautiful one. Some of those that have just a drop of beige in them, but they still are gonna feel so bright, so fresh.
Yeah.
And then, you know, just for the sake of a color like that, I'm like, take it everywhere.
Yes.
You know, paint your ceiling that same color in a main space. It can work. And then, you know, let's say they painted their cabinets. You could go like a shade lighter on your cabinets or a shade darker so that things have a little bit of variation. Low contrast. Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so let's talk kitchens then.
Yes,
Talk
that's where I
about
was
cabinets. Like, what are you seeing in kitchens? Let's talk counters. Let's talk cabinets.
Yeah, like
hardware.
let's say somebody's building right now.
Right now.
And they don't want their design to be out of date in 10 years. What would you
I
say?
think about that a lot because what's been popping up a lot, and I hate to say that it's trendy because I don't think that it is, but like we're seeing a lot of like the white oak, like the Rift white oak. Taj Mahal is a very beautiful, warm quartzite natural stone that I think pairs so beautifully with those woods. But I have heard a few designers and people say like, I'm not gonna use that as much this year because I don't want it to feel like what the modern farmhouse in shiplap was a decade ago. So that's a tricky one. I mean, I always think it depends on like the budget. We are seeing a lot of like beautiful wood tones. I still think painted cabinetries are having their day in the sun. Maybe not like a stark white shaker, maybe a different door profile that like gets outside of it. So like a slim shaker, or I just did a kitchen with like beautiful walnut slab doors. So there's no detail on the door. And then you just dress it up with hardware. And then they did like a painted black island and it was so stunning.
I love
and
that.
then we mixed metals in and we had statement stone.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, it's like your house, your rules. If you love it, it's always going to be in style for you. But I mean, there's definitely some of those like warmer toned quartz that are showing up, and then the natural stones. We're definitely moving away from the grays. We're not seeing as much of that. If there is a gray tone, it's got a lot of warmth to it. So more of a grayish.
Grayish, yeah.
And I think, you know, some of those are pairing still very nicely with the wood tones. But you know, when it comes to like your flooring and your cabinetry, picking a mid-tone that doesn't feel like it's like super, super dark or super light and it's not gonna get time stamped, I think that's a safe place to be right now. That's what I would be putting in is like something that's gonna be a middle of the road that can play well with others.
Yeah.
So you mentioned mixed metals. Can you talk about that? Because I know, you know, gold was super trendy. I love like a matte black. I've even seen, I just was in a model home where they had all gold knobs, but then the hardware was black, like the faucet was black, the pendant lights had like a black in them, and I'm like, oh, I really love that.
And I think you can mix up to 3 metals pretty safely. I tell people, don't stare at your appliances. Like if you have stainless steel appliances, it's not like everything has to be silver. So you take your main statement metal and then you're mixing in others. So like you said, the black and the gold pair beautifully together. I love, you know, a brass paired with like a polished nickel. You can do that too because like the polished nickel has like a warm undertone. I love chrome in bathrooms. And then pair that with like a black metal. What I like is kind of my formula is what your plumbing is going to be. Like if you're in a bathroom space, pick your plumbing and that's gonna be your metal tone. Your hardware and your cabinet can mix in and be something different. But like if you have a polished nickel faucet, you would want your towel ring and your other elements in there to mix in. But then, your lighting or your mirror could be like a different metal. So find the places to play around with it. But like, you don't want to have like a matte black faucet and a gold towel ring. Like, I think you want that plumbing suite to be cohesive. And then bring in like, you could do a brass mirror paired with like a light fixture that had a different metal on it. So
that reminds me, I think we talked about this. It's amazing the power of updating your light fixtures
Yes.
in
Huge.
the house.
Huge.
Where if you don't, sometimes those things are very subtle and can be really inexpensive, but can have a really big impact on making the home feel updated.
Absolutely. And that's it. Like most of the houses that we're all buying, unless it's a full-blown custom home, it's been a tract builder and they're going to have like a lighting package. So I always tell people, if you have a like allocated budget, the biggest like return on your investment or what yields the biggest impact is going to be painting anywhere in your house, and then lighting. And color temperature matters a lot too. Because a lot of builders will want to come in and just do like rows of can lights. And lighting is literally meant to be intentionally layered. So you have like that upper layer of like your overhead lighting. And then you have your like decor lighting, which is like your pendants or your chandeliers. And then there's like the ambient and the task lighting, which is gonna be like under cabinet lighting, toe kick lighting, table lamps, and all of that. And so those all work together. And like you can go to Home Goods and find a beautiful lamp that doesn't bust the budget. Or a nice chandelier that could, be under $500.
And they all need to be the same
tone.
Yes.
Please don't do like.
So that will make your eye twitch if you're like, this bulb over here is like a 4,000 temperature. It's like bright blue. And then you've got like the amber Edison bulb. I'm like, so that's all that stuff that will disrupt the harmony.
Well, it's also a nightmare for photography.
Yes. And I tell people, I go, if you have too bright of a bulb, you're going to have like, it disrupts your natural melatonin and your serotonin. So I'm like, it matters, like the temperature. And again, bringing in a designer just to kind of help with that. I mean, I'll do just a paint consultation or just a lighting consultation because that stuff is so impactful. And I'm like, you don't want to get it wrong. You really want that to be the thing that like packs a punch.
My rental property, I learned this lesson the hard way.
Yes, you did.
The color of gray that I saw at the store is not the color of gray that was in
because the
particular
fluorescence
rooms.
in the store.
Yes.
I know.
And then each room had a different light, so it looked like a different color.
You're like, well, this is supposed to be the same color, but it's over here.
And unfortunately, it was purple in the main room.
I know. That happened to me with Repose Gray. I literally loved it in the store, and they started painting it on the wall, and I go, stop, it's blue.
Yes.
It's literally blue.
Yes, because it pulls.
So, I know. And so I tell people when you're doing paint, and then so getting the temperature that you like for the bulbs, and then I say pick your paint color, and then you have to paint it in the north corner, the west corner. You have to go every direction because it'll read different in every light, and then the bulbs,
So what do you do? What do you do when clients don't listen to you on that?
Oh, that's a tough one.
It is.
So again, I mean, usually if there are more than one person involved, if it's a partnership or like a couple, usually they're going to have differing opinions because opposites attract. So I'm always there like either a tiebreaker or I always say like, it's your house, your rules. I will be long gone and you have to live here, but like, so I want you to love it. So usually there's places that I can kind of acquiesce and be like, okay, you can have that win. But really at the end of the day, I'm like, we all know how it feels when you walk in. And if there's all the bulbs are 4,000 super bright and you don't have any lamps and you don't have any other details, like you're going to feel it. And so maybe you love it, but like, I discourage it.
Yeah.
Can you talk, Lisa, a little bit about vacant homes, empty homes versus staged homes?
Yeah.
And how does that buyer experience that home?
It's really impactful. And it's sometimes where it's, again, that feel when you walk in. There's a reason why everybody loves to go to model homes. You walk in and you feel that difference. It's like, the smells, the sights, it's a whole tactile experience. So even if you could do a little bit of a light staging, that's going to be more impactful than like stuff everywhere. And I tell people, I say, step back, take a photo of the room. And like, if you can't see it when you're standing in it, maybe you can look at the photo and see what a buyer's going to see. So my goal is like, hey, get as much stuff out as you can just to kind of like depersonalize it. Maybe, either myself or another home stager or your realtor is bringing stuff in to kind of, really neutralize it. But if you can't, then it's like, get the stuff out and virtually stage it so at least the photos look good. But having a lot of like distraction and clutter, the buyer, I've seen them walk in and they're looking at
Yes.
they're looking at your diplomas,
Yes.
they're looking at the
Yes.
pictures of your kids.
Totally.
And you want them to focus on your house,
Yes.
not your stuff.
I say that all the
Yes.
time. I have this example. I was showing a house and the seller had reached out because it hadn't sold yet and they were wanting to get rid of their realtor. And as I went through, I'm like, this house is so adorable, but it was very like Pinteresty cute.
Yes.
And I was paying attention to all of that.
All of it.
All of
Yeah.
her cute decor and not the house itself. And we say this, right? When you sell your home, it's different than living in it.
It is.
And so you have to prepare it to appeal to everybody. So you do have to get rid of some of that stuff and just make it super neutral.
I know.
I love the idea of like taking everything out of your kitchen and then deciding what you're going to put back.
Absolutely.
And be really strategic with it.
I bet we have this conversation with clients and prospective clients
Like,
five times a week.
Easy, all the time.
It's all the time.
Yeah.
And the staging concept, and
Yeah.
it's hard for people to understand
It is.
because they're spending money that they don't think they're going to get back.
Yeah.
And by far, I mean, overwhelmingly, they're getting not just their money back, but
that
3-4 times that.
ROI
Yes.
is like, I say there's this sweat equity, like you were talking about earlier, painting your front door, like that's that instant curb. Going to Home Depot or Lowe's and getting a cute doormat, like Amazon a new doormat and layer a little rug underneath it, plant some fresh flowers. It does not have to get crazy. And so, and again, it's stuff that people can do themselves. And I mean, I can get maybe a tad on the nitpicky side, but I'm like, take a magic eraser and clean all your light switches and your baseboards, even if you don't repaint them. But
I just shot a video about this.
Yeah,
couple weeks
it's
ago.
huge. Well, and when I'm going over to style and stage something, like you said, pull everything out. Like you can tell me the things you want to go back on your bookcase, but I'm not going to like add more stuff to it. I'm going to pull everything out. We're going to curate it and make it feel good. And again, that neutralization is what buyers need. They need to be able to visualize themselves in your house. And so I do say, it's sad. It's like, you're selling this house that you've maybe lived in for 20 years, but it goes from like, it's a marketable product now.
Oh, for sure.
And so it's got to switch. You got to switch those gears.
Totally.
You're talking about being maybe too picky. I don't think you can be.
No, I don't think so either.
And that's why we're really good at it, because we understand that these are the things that buyers are looking at.
Absolutely.
How many times have we walked in a house and we've seen dust around the fan blades?
I know.
Or on the baseboards,
Yeah.
or the air
cobwebs
conditioning.
or the air vents are dirty.
Yes.
And then what I think some people's brains do is say, well, if I'm seeing that, what am I not seeing?
Thank you.
How dirty
Thank
are
you.
the ducts? Like, have
Yes.
they maintained the roof? And
Yes.
it gets
And
the
the AC
spiral going.
unit.
Yeah.
Yes, those are
And
the
they
two
don't
most
even
expensive
realize
things.
they're doing
Yes.
it, but they're
Yes.
doing it.
Yes.
They're building a story up in their mind about this home.
For sure.
Well, and I've even been with clients where I'm selling their house. And then I'm helping them buy.
Yeah.
And they will take a white glove to the houses we go in,
And you're like,
it's cleaner than theirs.
Like, go home and do that to your own
Yes,
house.
yes.
I know, and you feel bad, but it's like, and it is almost nice sometimes before they list their house, you go take them out to go look at a few, and you're like, hey, look at what this feels like. And, so you're like, if you're going to be this picky, everyone's going to come in and do the same thing to you.
Yeah. And it's funny. It's funny you say that too, because there are many times where we'll show 5 to 10 homes at a time, and sure enough, the ones that they love the most are staged. They're never vacant.
Yeah.
And they're super clean.
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching the episode. Our podcast is called The Real Deal, where real estate meets real life. And I love sharing these real life stories, but we are also in the real estate business. And so if you have any real estate needs, maybe you're thinking about buying or selling or wanting to invest in real estate, we would love to help you.
I mean, that tidiness and then bringing in the things that make it feel homey.
Yes.
It's like, it does twofold. And
for sure.
There was a point I'm getting into, building up inventory to really be able to stage for realtors and then myself, because I do a lot of like high-end renovations. And I paid, it's so funny because I paid a stager before I was really doing this to come in, and I think it was $5,000. And she did all the main spaces, and I brought in some tchotchkes or whatever, but it sold the first day.
Yeah.
And then I, as the owner of it, was like, well, did it sell because I had done all this beautiful renovation, or did it sell because I had staged it and brought in a real king bed, not like Home Depot boxes with a comforter over it.
Right.
And then it's like, but it doesn't matter. It sold in a day.
Yes.
So whether it's what I did on the finishes or whether what she did on the staging, it doesn't matter.
And
it's
I
sold.
would add too, yes, yeah, it sold fast, but you also have somebody that probably really loves it.
Absolutely.
And that's really valuable too as they go through the negotiation of a home inspection. And or they have that buyer remorse of like, did we do the right thing? But if they're so in love with it, they're going to stick with it. And that's really valuable too.
I know.
I was just talking to a client this morning. I wish I had 2 identical homes to stage and not stage just to test and show a case study.
Oh my gosh. You're like, walk through that one, then go walk through this one.
And see which one sells faster and for how much money, right? We have some really good stories and examples that are not completely identical, but they're very close.
Very close.
So like, we're going up against somebody else, same floor plan.
Yeah.
A little bit different features in the house, but this is staged and maybe not.
Yeah.
It's hands down.
I know.
So I just wish that we could test that
I know.
and show people.
It would be a really, it'd be a really cool study to have it. It's like exactly side by side because.
But you said it. There is a reason why builders have 3 model homes right next to the sales office.
100%. I know. And it's like a formula that works. And so, I mean, I do, it's hard sometimes when people like either don't have the budget or they're just like, they're kind of worn down by like the process of it or whatever the narrative is. But I always tell people, for the average person, this is your biggest investment. Like most people, and it's like, make it count and like pour love into it. And then it's going to yield the very best results for you.
For sure.
Well, and I can think of, we've talked about these quite a bit, but I can think of 2 examples where my seller didn't really love the idea of staging because they weren't going to get to keep any of the furniture.
Oh, for sure.
One of them, it was a legit $30,000 difference from before we took it over in the offer they had originally gotten. And he spent $2,500.
Yeah.
And then another one he spent around $12,000 because he had to replace some appliances and paint.
Yeah.
And it was a $70,000 difference.
It's crazy.
So
it is insane. Well, so I just was putting a proposal together for a client, and it was just like she doesn't need any big furniture. She just wanted, like decor and all the finishing touches, and so I love that kind of part of it, style and staging. And then I told her, I said, the best part of this is like, you're going to buy it, you're going to enjoy it. And then they're in this transitional period. Like one kid's in college, our youngest is like a sophomore. And like, so I said, best part about spending, let's say $5,000 on accessories and decor, you do get to take that with you. And it's going to feel like a model home.
Yeah.
And then whether you rent it or whether you sell it, the photos are going to look amazing. You're going to get the top tier dollar.
Yes.
Because she's like, well, we did our kitchen a couple years ago, but like there's, it just needed that love.
Yeah.
And I'm like, girl, this will pack a punch for you. You can't even imagine. And 9 times out of 10, people are always like, I'm so glad I did that.
Yes.
Why didn't I do it sooner?
All the time.
All the time.
Another great thing, and I want to get to a little bit of your personal story, Lisa, but before we do, one of the other great benefits I think of bringing somebody else in is when you buy the home and you closed on it and now you're like, what furniture do I get and what would fit in here and how should I do this? Bringing somebody in that can come in and give you advice or make recommendations can be really, really helpful
Absolutely.
too. I have a client, he's a single guy that just moved here and he used our stager to come in and tell him what to do. And she literally like sent him, okay, here's the furniture to buy, here's this. And he had me come over to see everything and he was like so proud of it. And he's like, I'm so glad I did that because it just was so easy and it's exactly what I wanted.
It is.
When we bought our house, it was a new build. And it was modeled about 3 miles east of us. And I was in that thing probably 30 times.
Oh, for sure.
I measured the couch in the loft.
You're like, this feels so good.
I found the exact same fans to put in the house because we're like, this is amazing.
I know. I did that with a client. It was, he bought in Waterston and his exact house was modeled. And I mean, he literally was like, let's plug and play. But I mean, we did different finishes, but I helped him. Like they had tile in the powder bathroom behind the mirror. And so he was like, I want a tile behind there too, but I want a different tile. But it was like, again, it's a formula that works. And
one thing that's really cool is you can literally take a photo of your house and put it in AI and have it do what you want to see what it would look like.
Yes,
so,
those inspiration images are so good because I'm having people do that. Like I just had someone today, I go, here's a bunch of front doors that I'm recommending for your modern Spanish aesthetic. And then they were like, well, we had AI do this. And I'm like, that's amazing, but I'm also like, let's make sure we're like adhering to the aesthetic that you want to achieve. And AI is so powerful and so wonderful. It doesn't I'm not fearful that it's going to take away any of our jobs. I just think it's like a wonderful visualizer to like help us like achieve our goals.
So what do you think about virtual staging though?
So I think in the right space, it, you know, again, you can do it on a budget. So if someone just has hideous stuff or they're not like open to moving their stuff out, bringing new stuff in, then I'm like, then get that room emptied out and then let's virtually stage that, you know? So I do think it's come a long way. It looks pretty good. I would take it over just a completely vacant house and vacant pictures. So it's not my first choice, but I'm not mad at it.
Because they're usually let down when they get there, right?
A little bit. But again, if it's clean and it's like, if all that stuff, it's empty and the walls are clean and the carpet's clean, I'm like, hey, I'd rather have it empty, clean, and then they can go look at the virtual staging over just, you know, someone's stuff everywhere.
Lisa, tell us, how did you get into this? Like, where were you always creative and loved that like design aesthetic? How did you get into this?
It's so funny. So the answer, it's yes and yes. So when I was little, I grew up here and Ahwatukee was just being developed. And so my dad's been a realtor since 1975. So I was always very like adjacent to houses and all of this stuff. But I lived in one house growing up. And so we were never like out looking at houses, and my dad didn't take me to work all the time. So I would make my mom drive me out to Ahwatukee and go look at model homes. And I was always rearranging my bedroom, and I had wallpaper, and then I had her like bring in somebody, I had my mom hire someone to do a mural, and like just very, very creative, and like always loved color. So that was probably like in the infancy of it. I studied journalism and marketing at ASU. And so I thought I was going to get into that path. But once I really got into the internships, I was like, I don't actually like it, but I'm pretty far in. So I worked for Phoenix Home and Garden after, that was my first job out of college. And so again, very like adjacent to all the home and garden stuff. And like they have their interior design issues. And then I moved to San Diego for a little bit, and I did marketing and conference and event planning. So life's never a linear path. I came back here in 2004. I got licensed in real estate and worked with my dad. What made
you decide to do that?
Well, funny enough, home prices. I was paying pretty exorbitant rent even in 2004 in San Diego, and my dad said, I don't care if you move back, but you're going to buy a house here in Arizona. So he's like, give me your little nest egg and I'm going to invest you in the market.
Love it.
So I looked at my mortgage payment at the signing table and I was like, this looks real good. So I moved back here. And then literally the day before I was moving home, I met my husband in San Diego.
Oh no.
And so I was like, what are we gonna do? So we figured out, spoiler alert, we've been together for 22 years. He moved out here. He's a realtor too. So
was he already?
we both, so we've both been licensed in that for 20 years, but I always loved the aspect of design. I was like, I was helping clients fix up their home to sell it, like we've all been talking about, and feeling so passionate about it. Or I would say like, you can buy the ugly duckling of the neighborhood and like, I got all the resources. We've got, you know, it's like, I got a guy, right? So I was really passionate about that. And then in 2018, I went back to school for it. So I went to Scottsdale Community College. They have a design program. I already had my bachelor's. So I was like, this is great. I can just get the core. And then COVID happened. And I mean, it was like, it took off on its own. It was crazy. So Whyte House Design was formed in 2019, and it's kind of like the rest is history. It's been good. It's been really good.
What does the future hold for you?
I know. So that's an exciting question. I mean, I have 3 designers. I have a lead designer. She also recently got her license, so she's in both sides of it. And then we're doing the staging side of it. That's this year that's happening. I'm excited about it.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, really venturing out.
Yes.
I know, so good.
What do you see for the future of design this year? Like, what are some things to, hey, I see this is going to be a big deal?
Yeah. You know what's funny is I feel like there's going to be a return to not so much of the open concept. I feel like people are, well, you know, we're back where like, you know, everyone's back to gathering. Like we don't have that like isolating at home kind of thing anymore. So So twofold. I think that some of the spaces that were converted into like, I have a home office, he has a home office, we're working out of our dining room. That's kind of going away. So I think people like these flex spaces that have kind of been like, it was my office, but now I'm turning it into something else. But like, instead of blowing out every single wall and opening everything up to be like a big barn, like I think people are like, I love this sitting area. I love this room to be like what I envision it to be as like my bar or my home. You know, I'm gonna have people over and like entertain in this space. So there's that like gathering community feel. And then where we live here, it's like we have weather like this in January, like opening things up to the outside. So really being like, you know, I've seen people take whatever their new floor is and just extend it right out into the patio and then a big old slider. And it's like this inviting outdoor living room. So that's really, really huge. You know, and then I think we all feel like homes lack storage. So I'm seeing like bigger laundry spaces, but again, almost a flex space where like someone's building in a little desk in there. Cause like, I don't need this whole like huge home office anymore. So they're like, kind of have that combo, like mud room, drop zone, laundry room. And if you have the space, and the new builds are picking up on it, they're doing it and making it count. So that's been really fun to watch, kind of the like evolution of our homes as we return to, you know, we're not isolated at home anymore, and you can kind of feel it in our spaces.
That's awesome.
Talk about storage. That's such a problem here.
I know, and we have so many Midwest people that move here.
Oh, yeah.
So they come and they're like, we had a 2,000 square foot basement back home. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, you have an attic and everything's going to melt in it, you know?
Even a place to put your Christmas stuff.
I know.
And for those that have 11 Christmas trees.
I know.
What do you do?
I know. Well, I mean, it's tricky because I really like to, I always say like, hey, it can always look beautiful, but if we don't have things be functional, then like, what are we doing? You know? For sure. So I will call in the big guns for like the closet storage. And like, if we have tall ceilings, like in this building you go vertical with stuff. Like, so I'm taking your cabinets to the ceiling. We're maximizing that space in an overhead 10-foot garage. So wherever we can. And then, you know, in kitchens, the old like drawer and cabinet door style, things get lost back there. I try to design with like full extension, whether it's pullouts or like big banks of drawers. And I tell people like your dishes can stack up in these drawer banks. They're like 10-inch boxes. So again, thoughtful design is not only beautiful, but like it's really maximizing your lifestyle and like the storage and everything that you need.
That's cool. So you're getting into cabinetry. And
all of it. All of it. Yeah. That's actually where I really started. When I went back to school, I loved like large scale renovation. I'd be like, let me take down a wall. Let me open this up, like big ideas. I had to kind of work into, I mean, again, the styling and staging kind of came naturally with like my real estate background, but I've had to really be like, okay, you know, when you're doing whole home furnishing, that's a completely different animal of design than it is like renovating a kitchen and like plugging in the cabinetry. So, of course, like my schooling has helped, but boots on the ground training is where.
It's funny because we've redone sections of our house. We've been in it for, this summer will be 9 years.
Wow.
A couple times. Like I think the kids' bathroom we've done 3 times. Our kitchen we've done like 3 times. And my husband's like, what the heck? And I'm like, but you know what?
It's a job hazard. It makes you happy, and it's a job hazard. We see too many houses. We go in, and it's like, oh my gosh, because the average person will remodel probably about every 10 years, 10 to 15 if they're lucky. But like for people like us, like we're just, it's like the information, we see it. And then I feel like certain things, like I redid my kitchen in 2017. I've already painted my island 3 times. I love it though. I'm like, first it was navy, then it was like this teal color. Now I have this like beautiful green color called succulent.
I love it.
I'm like, hey, listen, I might paint it pink next. Like, I don't even know.
You never know. But
See, I'm the opposite. I find something I like.
100%.
But this is the thing, like even my kids notice this, like when I come home and I see it, I'm like happy. So there's so much value in loving where you live. I think that's what COVID taught us. Because people looked at their homes in a whole different light because they were spending so much more time there. So it is worth it to invest in where you live, to get it to be functional, look pretty,
for sure.
all of that. I've always said this. If I was like the mayor of a city, one of my first jobs would be just to make it look pretty.
Absolutely.
Like just clean it up.
There is a reason why that stuff feels so good. My friend has a house in Santa Barbara, and we were laughing because we were like, the gas station and the Taco Bell are pretty in Santa Barbara. It's literally, there's a reason why they get the real estate prices they do. Not only is it adjacent to the beach, but I'm like, I was sending a picture of my kids. I'm like, look how pretty the gas station is.
I love it.
So I am, I love that beautiful aesthetic. But again, it's the things that make you feel good. And you don't even know why, but you're like, oh,
I love it.
Yeah, well, we've said this probably 4 times in this conversation. Living in your house and selling it are 2 different things. So yeah, you want to think about resale and what's going to give you bang for the buck down the road, but you have to love it.
You do.
Otherwise, you're going to be miserable.
And again, why wait to fix it up for somebody else? Because I've had people, they are like, let's do all the things. They knock out that punch list. And then I literally had somebody, we were prepping their house to get it ready to sell and doing all the hard work and the sweat equity. And then they literally were like, never mind.
Yeah.
We love it. And then they stayed put. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, sorry.
But so many times people say that to us, like, oh, I wish I would have done this sooner.
Yes, I know.
Why didn't
9
I
times
do
out
this
of 10.
sooner?
Yes, for sure. And
which is also a great note. Like, reach out to us at any time if you are thinking of like, should I do this? Should I not? And I love it when people do that.
I do too.
Yeah. There's a lot of times you do those like walks with people and you'll say like, they want to know what's going to yield the best like ROI. So it's like, reach out and like they can ask you and you're like, we'll tell you. You don't have to be putting a sign in the yard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's part of what we do.
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, what didn't we ask you, Lisa, that we should have?
Man, I mean, I think you guys hit the high points. It's so fun because we're so aligned on so many of these things. And it's fun to just kind of talk about what is, the forecast and the future. And I don't know about you guys, but like, I feel really good about what 26 has in terms of even the real estate market. There's always going to be the people that are like Chicken Little, like the sky is falling, but it feels really promising to me. Do you feel that way?
I totally agree. I think people have kind of resigned to where interest rates are. They're not freaking out about it anymore. They're like, we've heard that they're going to change and they haven't really. So it looks like we're going to do it. Plus, so many people sat on the sidelines the last couple of years that they're like,
lost.
Forget it. I'm just going to do
it.
So we're seeing a lot of like consumer confidence. I think we're in a very healthy market, if I'm honest. So for us, it's been a really great start to the year. And I think if anybody, Ryan and I say this, we were just talking about this yesterday. People ask us all the time, like, how's the market? And the market's always great. Just depends on what your needs are and what your situation is. But I think overall, people are feeling really comfortable. And we were with our lender, and rates are like 0.5 point less than where they were last year. So if you haven't, if you want to refi,
which is hundreds of dollars of difference in the mortgage payment.
Like any bit counts in the affordability and buying. And it's like, don't wait. Like the sooner you can get into the market and then make your home a haven, it's like, agree. Don't pay someone else's mortgage. Don't be renting, like get a house and make it your own. And that's the name of the game for sure.
For sure. All right, well, we like to end with a little speed round, some rapid fire questions.
I love it.
Are you good? Okay,
yes.
What's your favorite color?
Pink.
I was going to say, I think I know.
I can't help it. I am who I am. This is me.
It's actually my new favorite color too.
It's the best.
Yes,
I love it.
It just makes me happy.
Okay, do you have a favorite drink?
Ooh, I am really on a seltzer water kick. So it's a Topo Chico for me. Love it.
Okay.
But if it's an alcoholic beverage, I'm going to say a margarita, hands down.
Just like a
good,
traditional,
maybe
it.
a Flor de Gran Marnier. It's my favorite. Preferably if I'm in Mexico, but I'll drink it anywhere.
That's awesome. What about a favorite food?
Oh man, I mean, I love a good pasta. The sad thing is I recently got diagnosed with celiac disease. So that's a tough one. But I would say just like a good pizza or pasta.
You need to go to like Italy.
I do. Say less.
Right?
Oh, it doesn't make me sick over there. I can eat the food in Paris. I can eat the.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I ate my way through Italy and I was like, I probably had celiac, but I was not affected by it.
That's what I've heard.
Oh.
Okay, what about a favorite sound?
I just love the sound of like the ocean. I mean, I grew up here, but I did live in San Diego. And recently I was at, a client had a condo on the beach and I was helping her with the design and I got to open the door and the waves crashing. There's nothing better. The sound of water is just so soothing to me. I love it.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite book?
Oh, I've tried to find something to beat it, but it's The Nightingale for me. I love it. I've read it 3 times and it's like, I keep thinking like, do I have it glorified in my mind? Yeah. And then I read it again and I'm like, nope, it's still my favorite. I love it so much.
I'll have to read it.
So good.
Do you have a favorite podcast?
Ooh, okay. So I used to listen to a lot of prime ones,
Yeah.
but I am just loving Amy Poehler, The Good Hang. She is,
really?
I heard her podcast is so good.
she is literally joy and sunshine, and she has fun and laughs with every single guest. I love her so much. So yeah, it's
awesome.
worth a listen.
Okay, last question. What do you want to be known for?
Oh, being a good mother and a good wife. That's it for me. I mean, no one's going to talk about what kind of designer I was when I'm gone, but I think the mom that I was and the wife that I was, that's the legacy you leave behind for sure. Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's it.
Oh, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me. You guys are so wonderful. This was so fun.
Good.
I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Real Deal podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe, and you can follow us on social media at the Home Selling Team AZ.